Gymnasium, the site tonight for a 6A doubleheader. We are in the semifinals. Al DiCarlo, Tommy Moser, our D11sports.com game of the week presented by St. Luke's Sports Medicine. Exciting atmosphere without question. It's the first of two to be played here, and there's no doubt when we look at these two matchups, it should be interesting and intriguing what these two teams are going to be doing.
You said it first thing off. Jim is
what? All right, so our D11sports.com game of the week presented by St. Luke's Sports Medicine. Al DiCarlo, Tommy Moser with you, and a great atmosphere, the first of two. Allen and Freedom to follow here in game number one. The K-Kids of Northampton pulling off the upset, beating Liberty, and they find themselves in the championship, in the semifinal game. Huge matchup for them, and Coy Stampone has his team ready. He's got 7.9 points a game, but he can hit from the outside, and obviously that's a concern.
Yeah, as we talked about, so Coach Child said we got to run him off the line, but the problem with that for Northampton, they're so balanced. They have three other guys that Coach Stampone said he can go to, so it's a balanced attack.
Well, when we look at the other side, we look at the Easton Red Rovers and Ben Childs. He was under the weather the other day, but he feels 100%. His team feels 100% as well. They're coming off the win in overtime, in double overtime against Parkland. One of their key players, Ryan Boylan.
Well, a win in the district quarterfinals and a berth in state playoffs will make you feel better. But absolutely, Ryan Boylan, a four-year varsity guy, captain, leader of this team, made some clutch plays in overtime the other night to get his team here. They're going to look to him for offense tonight.
Well, expect a great matchup. We'll have it next. Our D11sports.com game of the week presented by St. Luke's Sports Medicine. Back after this.
Hall of Fame pitcher Steve Carlton knows what it takes to exceed expectations. He knows what it means to be part of a team that rises above the competition. He knows a champion. Steve Carlton knows St. Luke's Orthopedic Care.
We are back here at Liberty's Memorial Gymnasium, an exciting matchup between these two teams in Northampton and Easton without question, and we have our D11 sports reporters all over the place tonight, and we'll bring them on in as we've got Joey Draper, we got Ryan Pergar, we got Jagger Hornick, we got Travis Lahr, and we'll also have Peter Capote a little bit later on. And then let's go down to Joey Draper.
Welcome inside Liberty High School Gymnasium. I'm Joey Draper alongside Ryan Pergar, Jagger Hornick, and Travis Lahr. We are here for the semifinal matchup between the Easton Red Rovers and Northampton Concrete Kids. I'm going to go to Ryan first. Ryan, tell us, what did the Northampton coach say?
Transition and run fast, run quick. And they know that Easton's defense is going to be fast on them, and they know Easton's very agile, but they feel that they are confident enough to handle tonight and handle business.
Jagger, you spoke to the Easton head coach. What did he have to say about how he will get his team ready for this matchup tonight?
Well, Ben Childs said all week they were working on free throws and getting prepared for Northampton. He knows that they're a strong and physical team, and they're working hard, and they think they got the right guys to get it done tonight and move on to the championship on Saturday.
Travis, how did you feel overall when you came into the gym and seeing this crowd and the environment? How do you feel overall about the support that everyone's giving to high school basketball tonight?
It's great. We're excited to see this game play out in a great venue, in front of a great crowd. We have student sections on each side. It should be electric, and we're looking forward to it.
Jagger Hornick, Ryan Pergar, and Travis Lahr. Back to you, Al.
All right, guys, great job, and obviously we were looking forward to them throughout the evening, and obviously an opportunity for them to get in the mix as well. We talk about this, Tommy. Having them here, we got 40 student reporters. We got 5 of the best. They're all great. But I say a couple veterans, a couple novices that haven't been in part of the broadcast, and we had them leading each other at the same time.
Yeah, they all provided some different insight right there. It was a little round table, if you will, of 4 high school students in their own, without you giving them cues, and well led, and nice job by the 4 of them. And we'll bring in Peter as a 5th for the second game. But anytime you can have 4 high school students right there, led by Joey, only basically looking like he's conducting his own interview, that's just a great job by those 4 young men. And I'm looking forward to what they have to offer moving forward in the future.
Yeah, no doubt. We look at this matchup and we get ready for a great atmosphere. It doesn't get much better than being at Liberty's Memorial Gymnasium. I think Travis said it, and, the atmosphere in here will be electric. It's only semifinals, but when you get 6A boys semifinals and even the nightcap a little bit later on between Freedom and Allen, it should be intense. It should be a lot of firepower, and there should be a lot of excitement.
Well, you said at Liberty's Memorial Gymnasium, we're spoiled in the Lehigh Valley here with a lot of the new schools that have built exciting brand new gyms. Freedom, Northampton, Easton, 3 of the teams playing here have those gyms. But Liberty was the standard bearer back 20, 30, 40 years ago of playoff basketball in this area, going back to Billy McCaffrey, Michelle Marciniak, Pete Lasicki in the 80s and 90s when you and I were younger, Al, before we dreamed of putting headsets or shoes on to play. That's where we were coming to watch these games. And, you also mentioned it, the 6A semifinals, the big class. There's nothing cooler as a team than walking in and seeing the crowd in here as you're about to take the floor.
No doubt about it. Let's take a look at tonight's keys to the game. And obviously when you look at keys and you look at the first game, it's where you want to be in position. Coy Stampone knows they got to get a lot done tonight to pull up another upset.
Well, you look at Coy's keys, box out, control the tempo. He does not have the largest team. Easton a little bit more athletic, and so Coy's worried about that. Contain Clark and Boylan. He told us in the pregame Clark is a bad matchup for him. Boylan, obviously the veteran leader. On the flip side for Coach Childs and Easton, he's worried about the matchup zone that Stampone's going to throw out against him. You don't see a matchup zone a lot in this area, and Stampone runs it, and he runs it effectively. And so they're going to look to push the tempo and try and beat that matchup zone down the floor.
Well, there you see it. Ben Childs, we mentioned he was under the weather the first time out, and, this time a little bit different, but it is going to be excitement here. And, Allen and Freedom, they didn't waste more time. Again, you want to see who you're going to play, right? So you're going to be in the building. And I know Doug Snyder and Joe Stellato and their teams already have made their way into the building. So, we'll have them ready as well. As you look at the crowd, we see this going to be filling little by little as we continue on. But first, we pause in Honor America with the playing of our national anthem. we are just about ready to go as both teams will bring in their starting lineups. Again, the Northampton K Kids are 8-8 in league play, 15-8 overall. Coy Stampone in his 7th year for the Easton Red Rovers. Ben Childs is in his 7th year, 11-5, 17-7 overall. And, great opportunity for both teams, not only, to win this game and persevere, but move into the championship. Again, both teams and all 4 teams have qualified for the state tournament as well. First meeting, Easton won by a score of 66-61. And as we give you, stats throughout the game, I want to thank Pat Worrell, for everything he does. She does everything, but between the two of them, Bob and Pat Worrell, they do a great job, as the East Penn statisticians, and also both coaches, Ben Childs and Coy Stampone, for what they do. Take a look at the starting 5, and we begin with Northampton. Spencer Cole, 5'11", senior guard. Dante Rodriguez, who was lights out the other night, 6'3", senior guard. Zach Gula, 6'1", your senior. Jack Chrisman and Isaac Harris. For Easton, Nashawn Johnson, a 6'3", senior. Ryan Boylan, 6'2", senior guard. Assad Brown, a 5'6", senior guard. Chris Huey, a 6' junior guard. And Aaron Clark, a 6'3", sophomore guard.
Look at those lineups right there. 3 seniors for Easton and 4 for Northampton. Coach Stampone told us when his team made the district final 2 years ago, 3 of these gentlemen starting tonight played significant minutes in that championship game, so they're used to this atmosphere. He does not expect it to be too big of a moment for them. On the flip side, Easton winning their first district playoff game in 7 years on Saturday. So we'll see how these young men respond in a position right here where they have an opportunity to advance to the district championship game.
Get ready for the opening tip. Glad you could join us here. Our D11sports.com Game of the Week presented by St. Luke's Sports Medicine. We are glad to be here. We want to thank St. Luke's for everything they do. We want to thank SFBN, the Sports Fan Base Network, Ari Bluestein, Josh Bellman, and their crew getting us on the air once again. And expect some excitement in the air tonight, beginning here with game number 1, Easton and Northampton. Tempo-wise, Tommy, we talked to both coaches. Obviously, everybody wants to control the pace of the game. What kind of scoring are we looking at? I mean, the first meeting was 66-61. If it goes that way and that high, who's your favorite?
Well, believe it or not, I think a higher scoring game is going to favor Northampton. They're walking the ball up the floor here. They're going to try to get up and down. Coy said anytime his guys have a chance to run, he implores them to run. He wants them to push the tempo. Because on the other side of the coin, he's going to run a matchup zone. Easton is going to be patient, and Coy wants to slow them down.
Straight through the window is Isaac Harris. Harris with the first 2. Just underway, a minute into the contest. Northampton trying to pull in another upset. Nice feed down underneath, but they double down on Nashawn Johnson. Can't go anywhere, and here come the K-Kids the other way. Nice feed down underneath. And this is where they're dangerous on the kick out. Shot won't go for Spencer Cole.
And so that was an example of a secondary break right there by Northampton. Not an initial 2-on-1 or 3-on-2, but a secondary break.
Chris Huey with a traveling call.
And Easton, in their first few possessions, struggling a little bit to break down this matchup zone by Coach Stampone and the K-Kids.
Northampton trying to get something down underneath. That shot well off the mark, off the hands of Jake Chrisman. Easton still looking for their first points of the night. They get an opportunity here. It won't drop for Huey.
So one of Coach Stampone's keys was rebound the basketball, and they're 3 for 3 and a good start for his troops right away, cleaning up the defensive glass.
Want to thank Fred Harris for his hospitality and his crew getting us all set up here down on the floor. We're so close that if there's a chance for me to hit a 3, I may go out and take it.
Well, I figure it's even money that one of us gets our hands on a loose ball tonight.
Inside, here's Chrisman.
So one thing you saw Northampton do a couple possessions ago as the smallest player on the floor is number 5 for Easton, Assad Brown. Northampton going to look to take advantage of his size inside.
Tight defense here by the K-Kids, doing a really good job of, not letting Easton release right away.
And that's what the matchup zone does. It frustrates you. It's basically a modified switching man-to-man. So whenever there's an attack or dribble penetration attempt by Easton, there's going to be another defender in there to take that man's drive away. And Easton's having to settle for some forced jump shots right now.
Yeah, tough fadeaway shot there for Chris Huey. 0 for 4 from the field so far for the Red Rovers. That one almost knocked away.
You can tell we're in a 6A semifinal when you look at the officiating crew here. Andy Donatelli, Dennis McWhite, Chris Mahalik, 3 of the finest. Looks like Donatelli spotted something off the ball there.
Well, he heard you say his name, so he wanted to call the foul
Absolutely.
right away.
Hey, they watch the college games. That's what they do in the college games. So that's not bad, though. We played 4 minutes, and that's our first foul and whistle of the game. So I think the coaches would take that. Let's let them play a little bit.
Inside, nice look. Aaron Clark. Easton on the scoreboard, their first basket coming right at the 4-minute mark.
So Coach Stampone's done his homework. He knows that Aaron Clark is a lefty. He also told us in the pregame that even though you know Clark is a lefty, he still finds a way to get there, and that's exactly what he did that time and found a way to score the ball.
So 4-2 here midway through quarter number 1. Feed down low, and that the turnover.
That pass was there, the execution was not, and as a result, a missed opportunity for the Red Rovers.
Nice feed in the lane for the basket for Isaac Harris.
Great basket cut by Harris. His man turned his head, and when your man turns his head, you're taught the basket cut, and Harris did it for a basket right there.
Five minutes into the contest, 6-2. Here's Boylan inside the arc. There's a long 2. If it goes, does not. And so far, any shots they've had have been once and done aside the basket, by Clark.
Yeah, absolutely. Great job by the K-Kids sticking to the game plan. If you can stick to the game plan that your coach puts out there, you're at such an advantage, and his guys are doing that right now as Rodriguez just can't get that one to spin home.
Yeah, Easton 1 for 7 from the field so far here in the early going. Driving through, changing hands, and drawing contact is Clark.
So Stampone's matchup zone is very effective. The only thing breaking it down right now is the individual abilities of Aaron Clark.
Clark to the free throw line, makes his first. He's at 53% on the season. Second one is no good, and another rebound. That goes to Cole. We have 5 student reporters here. We have a couple out and about as well. Ben Carlin is over at Whitehall as Notre Dame is taking on New Hope Salisbury in the 3A classification. And also playing in that contest is Elijah Rivera, who was on the court side with us last night. So
Elijah did a great job the last few nights out for you here at D11 Sports. Do you have a score in that Notre Dame game, Al?
It's just underway. Don't ask too many questions right away. 1:56 on the clock. That one no good. Ball loose. Getting it right back is Clark. And the feed in the lane knocked away.
Look at all the bodies in black jerseys swarming in the paint right there. That's a definition of team defense, and it resulted in a steal.
So Dante Rodriguez has yet to get a shot off. But he can go real quick.
And that's the great thing if you're Coach Stampone. If one of your horses has an off night, you have some other horses in the stable.
From the corner, and The three is good for Joe Garbacher.
There's
So that's only his 10th three-pointer of the year for Garbacher. And then on the steal, and a whistle and a foul.
So some bonus points off the bench by Kerbacher, and then an errant pass by Clark to no man's land, and Cole picked it up and went the distance. You get a replay. Look at it right here. Here's Kerbacher on the skip pass, right in off the bench, and buries the three. As you mentioned, Al, only his 10th of the year, so you're thrilled to see that go through the hoop if you're Coach Stampone.
Cole misses the first, and that's a shock seeing him miss that. The reason is he is 17 of 18 from the free throw line this year, so I'm going to say he's going to make this.
94%, and you didn't even put the announcer's jinx on him. That one was pure. You can tell why he's over 90%. And the miss spun in and out. It wasn't a bad miss. Sometimes it's just we call that physics, I believe.
That's what you call it?
I'd like to throw other terms out there that I don't know if they apply or not, inertia, things like that.
So 1 minute on the clock, 10 threes. Your score, lone basket and lone points of the game coming from Clark for Easton. Moving it up and knocked away.
Now that prior possession right there for the Red Rovers was a good set, and they got an open 15-foot mid-range jump shot from one of their better players in Ryan Boylan. So Coach Childs will take that. The possessions for the rest of the quarter, he's going to want to throw in a trash can and get something else going here to start the second quarter.
Final 35 ticks on the clock. In the lane, driving through, nice dish across, and basket is good. Isaac Harris. So Harris got 6 points here in the early going.
Well, and Harris has done a great job of just finding open spots on the floor.
A 9-point lead, some way, somehow. The ball got back to Nashawn Johnson. Now 7 on the clock. They'll come down. Here's Rodriguez. Goes to the corner. There's Cole for three. Yes! Spencer Cole buries a three. His 46th three-pointer of the year. And Northampton on fire as they lead 15-3 after 1 quarter of play. We'll come back right after this. You're watching our D11Sports.com Game of the Week presented by St. Luke Sports Medicine. Cole burying it right there at the buzzer.
St. Luke's Orthopedic Care. Extraordinary care in motion.
We are back, and we saw Spencer Cole with a huge three-pointers, 46th of the year. Coy Stampone's got to be jacked up after quarter number 1, leading by the score of 15-3.
Well, he's absolutely thrilled at this point. His group is executing the game plan to perfection, and on the flip side of the coin, Coach Childs has to be very concerned with what he's seeing out of the boys in the white jerseys right now.
So we're underway, quarter number 2. 4 points for Cole after that three. Gerbacher off the bench with the triple. 2 for Chrisman, and Harris has 6 to lead the way. And the lone 3 points coming from Aaron Clark. It's a tough place to be underneath. And the shuffle of feet and the turnover. Tommy, take us into, maybe what Coach Ben Childs was telling his team. Again, you got so much time left, but, you're just flat so far shooting-wise. Maybe that will get you going as they start things off quickly with the three by Assad Brown.
A big shot by Brown, only his 11th of the year, but you look at the score 15-3, and obviously only scoring 3 points in a quarter isn't going to get it done for you. And you mentioned there's a ton of time left, but of more concern is you see great help defense right there. I was just going to point out, I think of more pressing concern for the Red Rovers was their effort on the defensive end of the floor. Too many men getting loose for back cuts as you get a look at Brown right here. Stampone's telling his guys, we don't need to guard Brown from the three-point line. He's not a great shooter, and he makes them pay right there. So credit to Brown on that set, but Coach Childs cannot be happy with the defense. Too many basket cuts, too many open guys moving without the ball. The breakdown at the end of the quarter that when you saw Cole bury the three off the loose ball and scramble situation. So you're going to need to get some points, but you plan on your scorers making shots as the game wears on, but you need to tighten up the defensive breakdowns.
Yeah, good analysis there. Now from 14. And you want to get someone hot. It's Assad Brown right now, back-to-back baskets.
Well, Brown only averages 8 a game, and he just threw 5 in about 30 seconds. So you need role players to step up when you're in playoff action. And Assad Brown is going to take it on his shoulders as a senior and say, we're playing for gold on Saturday.
A minute 30 into quarter number 2, and this quarter's changed. It's all Easton with the first 5 points of the quarter. And loose ball. They battle for it. And possession arrow will go, I believe, to the Red Rovers.
It will, and as you mentioned, Coach Childs, good job by him in the quarter break as you get a look right here at the replay. Rodriguez off the screen. Boylan, great job hedging. Rodriguez loses control. Boylan on the floor. Rodriguez on the floor. Jacobs diving in on the floor. But Coach Childs, I'm sure, in that quarter break stressed to his guys, look, there is plenty of time left. Don't worry about what's happening right now. Let's take it one possession at a time moving forward, and they're off to a great start here in the second quarter.
Shot doesn't go, but Aaron Clark will make another visit to the free throw line.
Clark just gets to the basket so easy. Even though you know he's a lefty, he is just so skilled. You can see why college coaches are all over this young man as only a 10th grader. You cannot, as you get a look at the replay here, that K-Kid faithful thought it was a charge. Let's take a look. Well, he was definitely in position, so it could have been a no call. Mahalik thought he saw a little sliding and called a block.
So Clark makes 2, and all of a sudden it's 15-10.
Red Rovers going with a little bit of full court man pressure here, trying to change that tempo.
It's amazing when we say, basketball is a game of runs. It really is. I mean, it's amazing. There's another opportunity on the transition, and they'll get a foul on Gerbacher, and they'll try to add to this run as they'll send Avery Hutchinson to the free throw line.
Well, it is a game of runs, and that's why, as is with every sport, but it's such a mental game because you can't allow yourself to get down because you give up a few baskets in a row. If Easton goes into that quarter break after Cole knocks that 3 down and they feel sorry for themselves and they come out to start the second quarter flat and the K-Kids pile a couple more baskets on, you find yourselves down 15. On the other side, they pull themselves up by the bootstraps and they score the first 8 points of the second quarter, and we have a brand new basketball game.
Yeah, the free throw line is going to help you each and every time. We always say that. A little leak out, waiting, assessing, can't score, however, was Isaac Harris, and another foul. Boy, I tell you what, whatever was said in that huddle, it changed them quickly to the Red Rovers.
Yeah, we need to get one of our reporters over there to get a little audio recording so we can bottle that up and sell that to some coaches countrywide, because how effective, a 9-0 run in 2 minutes and 20 seconds and possession. So great job by Coach Childs and his staff keeping the Red Rovers composed, and we are right back where we started.
Notre Dame and New Hope Solberry, Boyle hits a 3 at the end of the quarter. 14-13, Notre Dame leading at the end of 1. Ben Carlin has our coverage there. (15-12). It was 15-3 after 1. Looking at a 9-0 run right now. And at the same time we're looking at a 9-0 run, you're looking at, Northampton sitting at 15.
Yeah, well, they seem a little rattled here to start the second quarter. Not that they expected Easton to fold up their tent, but they didn't have a response for Easton hitting them in the mouth here to start the second quarter. And as a result, they are sitting on 0 for the first 3.5 of the quarter.
That shot won't fall. We're going the other way. Outlet pass. In the lane, driving through, making it look so smooth is Dante Rodriguez.
And that was a great outlet pass right there by Gula, who found Rodriguez, and he was smooth with the pull-through move for the finish.
And Boylan comes right back and drops home the 2.
And that's what a scorer does, answers a basket on the other end with a nice little pull-up.
Midway through, the quarter ball gets loose. Actually goes off the head of Derek Jacobs. It'll be Northampton ball.
Well, Mr. Jacobs has come in here to start the second quarter, or maybe it was late in the first quarter, and he has changed tempo by getting on the floor and being a pest defensively. We saw his brother do that earlier this year in a game over at Parkland playing for Notre Dame, and he certainly has helped change things around for Easton here in quarter number 2.
His place will be jam-packed on Friday and Saturday for regional wrestling, which will be held here at Memorial Gym. Fred Harris and the staff do a great job, getting everyone ready. There's a shot from the outside. Will not go. Ball loose. And here come the Red Rovers again. Down 17-14. Off the mark by Huey. And 1, count it, for Rodriguez.
Rodriguez, the 3-year varsity player, the senior, just absorbs the body contact, smart enough to take advantage of what he thought was a good matchup, one-on-one. You get a look at the replay. Brown's 5'6", Rodriguez listed at 6'3". Rodriguez noticed a mismatch, went right at Brown, drew the contact, has a chance for a 3-point play.
So 5 points for Rodriguez. And the lead back up to 6, 20-14. That shot by Jacobs off the mark. Ball loose into the hands of Zach Gula.
Northampton doing a great job of team rebounding right there. Spencer Cole knew he would not be able to go and rip it away from the trees, but he tipped it to his teammate, and Gula came away with it.
.241 on the clock. Really a tale of 2 quarters. That one too high off the glass by Zach Gula, still trying to find his mark. Now in transition, Brown with the kick out and gets it right back. They leave him wide open, but that can't go. And Northampton the other way.
Well, the K Kids have stabilized themselves after a wobbly start to this quarter. Lost some of their lead, but still maintaining a 6-point bulge, and they'll take that at this point as we near the end of the first half.
New Hope Solebury and Notre Dame tied at 28-28 at the break.
Wow, very good competitive game.
That game being played at Whitehall High School. Here it's 20-14, 2 on the clock. In the lane, Gerbacher again eyes up a 3 and hits it. How about Gerbacher off the bench with 2 threes?
Well, somebody's going to step up usually in these playoff games as you see Brown fumble the ball away right there. And Gerbacher at this point is responsible for 2 threes and putting a dent into Coach Child's defensive game plan. You see he switched Brown off of Rodriguez here and not allowing Dante to take advantage of the size mismatch anymore. Sticks Boylan on Rodriguez.
That shot doesn't go, but the rebound is there for Rodriguez. So Rodriguez here in this quarter has 7 points. I said he didn't get going there in the first quarter when they took the lead 15-3, but Rodriguez is on fire now, and Northampton just like that, up by 11. The biggest lead was 12, but a 9-0 run changed that, but they were right back where they were.
Yeah, we get a look at the replay right here. Rodriguez drives the lane, misses, but nobody follows in for a rebound for Easton, and Rodriguez follows it up. So when you have assistant coaches out, this is where somebody at the quarter break, you're feeling good if you're Northampton because you're up 15-3, but maybe one of those assistant coaches goes over to Dante and says, hey, this is your quarter, man, let's get going. And then that's all it takes. I mean, maybe he took it upon himself as a senior veteran leader, but either way it played out, he's been responsible for their resurgence here late in the second quarter.
1:10 on the clock as I lose my voice there for a second.
So Coach Childs calling a late timeout there, not liking the effort on the defensive glass from his young men, needing to stabilize things here as we reach the end of the first half.
Nice feed underneath, waits, assess, and that one's stripped away. And that one knocked away.
Great job right there defensively by Clark. He bit on the pump fake. Sorry, Al.
Now you're good. I got my voice back, so I started talking. An offensive foul. I was going to let you go the rest of the way.
Well, I was worried that you swallowed a stink bug or something, but Johnson there with the clear out inside after Huey with the really athletic block on the other end, and I'm be surprised if Coach Stampone does not hold for one in the last half minute here.
Up by 11. Again, the biggest lead of the game was 12.
Childs does have 2 fouls to give if you're Easton, so let's see if they employ that tactic down the stretch.
Down the final 15 seconds. Down to 10. And driving through the lane. Nice feed underneath once again, and is going to earn it on the free throw line. A great job, and this is a couple times. Rodriguez has that little pump, and they've been biting each time.
Well, not just that, but that's at least the third or fourth time that we've seen a K-Kid with the ball penetrate, and the help defense is not there. The help defense is there, but the secondary help is not, and we're getting basket cuts, and that's something that Coach Stampone must have been drilling into his guys because they've done it effectively, and it's gotten them at least 3 baskets and 2 free throws right here.
Makes the first one.
Now it's Stampone with a foul to give here with 5 seconds to go, and we'll see what he chooses to do to try and prevent Easton from getting a last-second heave off.
So this match is the biggest lead of the game, and it's at 12. Final 4 seconds. Up the floor, Boylan's going to let it fly, and that one is going to be short. 26-14, a 12-point lead, exactly how it was after quarter number 1. And it was 15-3 after 1, 26-14 here at the break. And we'll come back with more action. You're watching our D11Sports.com Game of the Week. 6A boys semifinals. Right now, Northampton leading 26-14 back after this.
Are you searching for a place where you belong? Where your fitness matters? Regardless of what shape you're in, St. Luke's Fitness and Sports Performance Centers have a professional team that will help you meet or exceed your fitness goals. With locations throughout the region and nationally recognized fitness experts, you'll become a member of a supportive fitness community. We call it Extraordinary Fitness. Visit us online to start your free 7-day membership and let us help you thrive. Concussions are serious. 3 million sport, recreation, and auto accident-related concussions happen each year. 20% of high school athletes who play contact sports will suffer a concussion during the season. St. Luke's is the region's leader in assessing, managing, and treating concussions in athletes and non-athletes of all ages. Our multi-specialty teams of experts collaborate to care for you using the latest treatment options. Don't play head games, take concussions seriously. Call St. Luke's to schedule an appointment with one of our concussion experts.
Hall Hall of Fame pitcher Steve Carlton knows what it takes to exceed expectations. He knows what it means to be part of a team that rises above the competition. He knows a champion. Steve Carlton knows St. Luke's Orthopedic Care.
We are back here at Liberty High School. 15-3 is your score after one, and 26-14 now at the half. And obviously an opportunity now for us to get a chance to see what happened in the locker room between the two teams. And obviously, we have 5 student reporters with us: Peter Capote, Travis Lahr, Joey Draper, Jagger Hornick, and Ryan Pergar, representing their, a number of different schools. And right now we go over to Joey Draper to take things over. Joey?
Welcome back. I am Joey Draper alongside Travis Lahr, Ryan Pergar, Jagger Hornick, and Peter Capote. I'm going to go to Jagger here. Jagger, your overall thoughts on the first half of the game and what the Easton coach had to say about it.
Northampton. He was very happy with his players in the first half and how they were able to get up big, but he was a little bit worried about the Easton's run in the second quarter. But he thinks that if they keep up the pace and continue to keep playing the way they are, that they should be able to come away with a win in this one.
Travis, you were the one that talked to the Easton coach at the break. What did he have to say about the fact that his Red Rovers are down 12 points and how they could come back and advance to the final?
Well, he was just saying how the offense was just flat out terrible, and but he thinks that they haven't been executing their game plan. They did go on that little run, and he thinks if we can get that fixed for the second half, get that offense going, there's still a chance.
Peter, how did you feel watching the game in the first half, and what did you think overall about how both teams played?
I think Northampton came up with its best game plan and has executed it, and on the Easton side, their 2 best players aren't getting their points, and I think that's the outcome of what the game is so far.
Ryan, what can you look for in the second half that'll make this game more interesting and kind of get the crowd back into it? Because right now all we've been hearing are names from Northampton, and Easton kind of still hasn't woken up yet. So what do you think could go better for them in the second half?
Well, obviously, Easton just needs to go on that run that they did in the beginning of the second quarter. They were very stagnant in the first quarter, only scoring 3 points. But then in the beginning of the second quarter, they got on a 9-0 run. So I believe in the second half, they have to start quickly and keep the gas pedal and keep moving.
That's it from the halftime show here with Peter Capote, Travis Lahr, Jagger Hornick, and Ryan Pergar. I'm Joey Draper. We send it back to Al.
All right, guys, great job. Well done. We get a better assessment than that. Why are you here, Tommy?
Well, I just looked for my keys because I figured you were going to pull one of them to replace me. And you know what's really neat and unique about that setup right there, Al, is that those 5 young men are from 5 different high schools. So they really have no connection with each other prior to D11 Sports. And now they're going to be friends. They have something in common. They'll be on a group text. They'll be friends for life. They get to do something like this. They can watch this on YouTube at any point in the rest of their lives. Just an awesome, awesome thing for those 5 young men, and a great job.
No doubt about it. Ryan Pergar is from Pleasant Valley. Jagger Hornick is from Raven Academy. Joey Draper is from Emmaus. Travis Lahr is from Nazareth. And Peter Capote is from Allen. And obviously they've had, some great job with us. We have our monthly meetings with them. We'll have another one coming up as well in the near future here to get them all situated. But, good job there. That was Aaron Clark with the basket. as they try to get things into the mix. Take a look at some first half highlights.
Or you're going to see a lot of Northampton right here as our there's Kerbacher off the bench with 1-3. He'll get another one in a little bit. And there's Gula on the drive, and there's a great pass and lack of help defense by the Red Rovers, and that's one of the things that Coach Childs is going to focus on here in this extended halftime break as we see Gula, that was Cole, knocking down a 3 at the end of the half. Coach Childs with his guys out to get some shots up with a few minutes to go before the break, but Assad Brown gave the Red Rovers some offense early in the second quarter. But right back with it came the K-Kids. There was Rodriguez to stop that 9-0 run. And as you heard Ryan Pergar say, Easton went on that run to start the second quarter, but it just kind of flattened out after that. And they're going to need to do that a couple more times in the second half here if they want to be wind up on the winning side of the ledger here in about 45 minutes.
And no doubt about that. We're getting ready to go in the second quarter. Take a look at some first half numbers from Dave Mike in Northampton. 10 of 22 shooting, 3 of 8 from behind the arc, and 3 of 5 from the free throw line. Easton, 4 of 21 shooting, 1 for 7 from behind the arc, and 5 for 6 from the free throw line. And you look at individual scoring right now. Boylan with a 2, 5 for Assad Brown, the 5 points for Clark, and 2 points for Hutchinson. That's it. That's what they have in the first quarter.
Well,
first half.
You said 4 for 21 from the field, Al. That's not going to win you many regular season games, and it's probably not going to win you a district semifinal in the 6A classification. So Coach Child's comment to one of our student reporters was our offense was terrible. I didn't think their defense was great. Certainly shooting 4 for 21 is going to leave you with a bad taste in your mouth. He knows he's got more from his guys than they gave in the first half, and we saw that on Saturday actually over at Allen High School against Parkland. They did not play very good first half, came out in the second half, took it to Parkland, and that's why they're playing here tonight.
And no doubt about it. We'll take a quick break. First give you the scoring. Cole with 4, 8 points for Rodriguez, all coming in the second quarter. 6 for Gerbacher, 2 for Chrisman, and 6 for Isaac Harris. A quick break and back with the second half of the 6A semifinal number 1. Northampton Easton with the winner getting either Freedom or Allen, which is our nightcap. Al DiCarlo, Tommy Moser with you from Liberty's Memorial Gymnasium. You're watching our D11sports.com Game of the Week presented by St. Luke's Sports Medicine. Back after this. We are back, 26-14 at the break. All right, Tommy, we heard from our student reporters what was in the locker room. Now I'm going to hear from Tommy Moser how this score changes for both teams. Does it stay there with Northampton as they continue firepower, or is Easton got to change a bunch of things here as they move forward?
Well, if you're Coach Childs, you have to be a little bit deflated because you guys came out in the second quarter with a great run and flattened out, and we had the exact same spread we had after quarter number 1. But as I said a few minutes ago, this was the position they were in on Saturday in the quarterfinal against Parkland, and they bucked themselves up in the second half and came away with a W. So that's what they're going to rely on here in these next 16 minutes.
Harris missed on one end, and on the other end, a whistle and a quick foul here early, only about 18 seconds in.
Now, if you're Coach Stampone, you're stressing to your guys, we just have to play the way that we played in the first half. Do not change the way we're playing. If guys start to go rogue and start to take different shots or take gambles or stray from the game plan defensively, you're going to find yourselves in a 2-possession game before you know it.
So missing the first one is Deshaun Johnson. Johnson on the free throw line has struggled, and that's the understatement. 39% He's been there 67 times.
Well, I think we saw him on Saturday in overtime. I think he missed 6 in a row, and you have to feel for the young man, and we know because we asked Coach Childs if you spent any time on a foul, and I kind of asked him sarcastically, knowing the answer was yes, and he just kind of looked at me because, of course, they work on it. It's just not as easy as it seems sometimes.
In the lane, Kerbacher, no, kicks it back outside, but that goes right into Nashawn Johnson's hands, and we got numbers coming the other way. Straight through the defense, unscathed is Chris Huey. That's his first 2 of the night.
Great drive by Huey right there in the open floor, nobody picking him up. And that's maybe what Coach Childs stressed. One of the things in the locker room was we have to beat this matchup zone down the floor because it's slowing us up in the half court. And one change for Stampone is he gave Kerbacher the start here in the third quarter.
Harris, he's got 2 more.
And that was Harris off of a back cut yet again. And we saw that multiple times in the first half. The Red Rovers not seeing the help cut, and it's resulting in basket after basket.
Now I get back, we've seen Northampton, a couple times this year. The first game of the year, we saw them against Freedom, and then we saw them against Central Catholic when Cole hit the 10 3-pointers. And what Coy Stampone has done with this team after losing a couple players, from a couple years back and stuff like that, has been tremendous. It really has.
Well, they're the epitome of a team. They're a team. This is a team sport. Sometimes you have individuals that can carry you in moments. As you mentioned, one of those players a few years ago was Aiden Elwood, a 4-year player, outstanding high school player, Aiden Elwood. He's got certainly some nice players on his roster right now, but he doesn't have a superstar, a first-team All-League guy. What he has is a group that plays well together and is greater than the sum of their parts. Is that what we say about that, Al? Right?
Wow, look at you.
Yeah, and so, that's why they're in this position. If you look at rosters, you would not think that this team is a team that would be in the district semifinals and have a chance to go to the final, but they're playing like Coach Stampone wants them to play, and that takes you so far.
I've heard you say physics. I've heard you say history. I've heard you say math, analytics. You're all over the place tonight.
You notice you never heard me say English, though.
Cole misses on the 3 from the baseline. They almost had it back. Instead, it goes the other way to Aaron Clark, and Clark will doze in for 2.
So that's 2 baskets in the third quarter here for the Red Rovers, and they're both in transition. And if Northampton can eliminate that, they have to feel pretty confident. If Easton gets out and gets some transition buckets, they're going to find themselves right back in the game.
Nice feed coming across, and 2 more for Harris. He's got 10.
Now, I think Harris, you said, has 10. That's 5 field goals of 2, right? I would predict that at least 4 of those, if not all 5, are on back cuts when his defender turned his head. That is something that needs to be addressed if Easton is going to creep back into this game.
Ball loose, and that one knocked away and taken again. That's a tough foul. As you know what, and I don't want to jinx this here, but as we take a look at the replay, of the last nice, play down below, I don't want to jinx this here, but they've been limited fouls. It's been, pretty much a smooth game to this point.
Well, if you look back to the conversations we had with the coaches, not every coach stresses this, but Coach Childs said we're going to play as aggressive as we can without fouling. You don't want to foul. Fouling negates hustle. And Coach Stampone sitting in a matchup zone, that's automatically going to reduce the number of fouls you commit. And so that's why we're sitting where we are. It is a very clean game so far.
Nashawn Johnson has his first 2 of the night.
Johnson flying in for that putback, and a rare offensive rebound for the Red Rovers.
They get an offensive foul here on the push by Gula.
Now, Gula was frustrated 2 times ago down the floor. He thought he got grabbed on a shot attempt. It wasn't called. He's a little frustrated, maybe a little clear out right there because he feels some hands on him, and Mahalik tagged him with the offensive foul.
Boylan buries the 3.
Stampone may need a timeout, but wide open is Boylan. That was a breakdown, a rare breakdown defensively for the K Kids.
Cuts the lead to 7, and now some pressure here for Easton. Rodriguez gets off the defense and resets the offense. Glad you could join us here at D11Sports.com Game of the Week, presented by St. Luke Sports Medicine. Al DiCarlo, Tommy Moser, Dave Micah, and a plethora of D11 Sports student reporters with us. here from Liberty's Memorial Gymnasium. We are in the 6A boys semifinals.
That's an SAT word, Al. Plethora.
I don't know how. Now you're making me think if I know how to spell it. I'm pretty good. I was a spelling champ in 1987, national.
I have stories about
Do you know
that. I was a spelling champ, but I choked. Let's just leave it at that.
1987, national champion.
National champion.
National. One of the best in the world.
Scripps.
No, I'm kidding.
Ah.
Man, I had you going, but now all of a sudden you got me going that you said you were good.
You sold that one.
Inside, selling nothing and continuing high pace is Harris. 6 in this quarter, 12 for the game.
Now, that was a great individual drive right there by Harris and a strong finish inside. Every time Easton goes on a little run, it's Harris with a play.
Knocking that one away. This is a 3. If it goes, it won't, but there's a 3-shot foul as they'll get this one on Harris.
Here's Harris on the prior set. Good ball fake from the corner. Huey goes out too far. Not enough help defense. On the other end, Harris committing a cardinal sin. You know how I feel, partner, about fouling a three-point shooter, and Clark is going to get a chance to earn 3 at the line.
Not only that, it's his 3rd foul.
3 fouls on Harris, too. Double whammy, and Coach Stampone cannot be thrilled about that.
So Clark makes the first one. He now has 8. Make it 9.
Patriots heading into the locker room to get changed for their upcoming second half of the doubleheader. Canaries already changed and ready to go, Al.
All three free throws made to cut the lead to 32-26.
Easton's really cranked up the half-court pressure here.
1,000%. Here's Cole over to Rodriguez. A little bit too hard off the window for Spencer Cole. Outlet pass to Brown. Brown in the lane, can't get the roll. And here's Cole, comes out of that pile. Cole knocked away by Assad Brown, and it'll be Northampton basketball. So a lot going on there in about 35 seconds, but no points.
There's a lot going on. Coach Stampone, I get the feeling he senses a little shift in momentum here. I would not be surprised in the next minute if we get a timeout from Stampone. In the meantime, Harris seems to have a uniform or blood issue as he's being tended to by a St. Luke's trainer. And we're going to get a stoppage here.
So stoppage with 2:27 on the clock. 32-26 is your score as Gerbacher checks into the game. So how about Gerbacher off the bench, has a couple threes. He averages 1.7 a game. He gave you 6.
Well, if you're Coach Childs in the locker room at halftime with Easton and your players, you're telling him, all right, number 10, we didn't have him on the scouting report before the game, but right now he knocked 2 threes in. If he's in the game, let's know where he is so he doesn't get any more free looks, and that's why you've seen him be quiet here so far in the third quarter.
So 41-41, Notre Dame and New Hope Soulbury after 3 quarters of play. Ben Carlin has us covered there.
He's given us great updates. That's a very competitive game, as we figured it would be. Good luck to the Crusaders in the fourth quarter.
Cole for 3, no. Ball loose, they get it back momentarily and then knocked out of bounds. Tell you what, I love the firepower, the spunk from Ben Childs, how he motivated the player. Again, Ben Childs was an assistant for Corey Stampone at Penn Argyl and his first year at Northampton before getting the Easton job. So, they talk every day.
Yeah.
But they're not talking right now.
Well, they might be talking, but I don't think it's things they want to say to each other. But Clark has certainly woken up here.
Clark buries a 3, and Clark is cruising along here in this quarter. And a timeout for Corey Stampone that cuts the lead to 3.
Well, you could see that one coming from a mile away. The momentum just slightly shifting in Easton's favor, and we have a one-possession game. You get a look at the replay right here. Boylan inside, Johnson on the kick out. That's what you got to do in a zone. Inside, outside. Clark, bingo, timeout. Stampone.
So 1:46 on the clock, 32-29. And 15-3 after one, 26-14 at the break. Easton has never led in this game. They cut a 15-3 lead with a 9-0 run to 15-12 to 3. And right now, again, back to a three-point game, 32-29.
Yeah, mentally now, they'd really like to get over the hump and at least get this thing tied. At this point, they have the possession hour to start the fourth quarter, but if they can get this thing tied, they're going to be in a much better position mentally as we head to the fourth quarter.
Gula. So Gula averages 11 points a game. He's still looking for his first points of the night. And there's another guy that if he gets in the flow, could be dangerous. He's got 35 three-pointers on the season.
Well, Gula's been quiet, but that does not mean that all it takes is
That's
one
right.
look from him to knock a big shot down in the fourth quarter, and he's been through the wars over the last few years, so let's not count that young man out.
They'll get Cole open for a three, hand in his face, won't drop. One of those nights for Spencer Cole, and then he comes right back on defense.
Yeah, Cole's been rushed a little too much here the last few shots he's had. He doesn't have a ton of space. He's catching the ball clean, but he's seeing some defenders closing out on him, and he's just kind of rushing the tick, and he's been off a hair to the side.
.115 on the clock. Easton with a chance to tie here with a three or even cut the lead to one. No patience for the Red Rovers. And man with the ball has taken over in the second half.
Good job closing out right there by the K Kids. As you know that Clark is looking to get another one off. He's feeling froggy right now after a couple baskets. So all it's going to take for him is a little bit of space as we get a little ticky-tack. We haven't seen a whole lot of those tonight, but there was one right there whistled by Mahalik. And that's the fourth on Isaac Harris, Al.
So Harris has 12 points, 6 in each quarter, and now he's going to be on the bench for a while.
And that one stings because it hasn't been called all night long, and it was late in the quarter.
That's for the tie and then over the top.
And that was an easy one. And the K Kids can hold for one here and go into the fourth quarter with the lead if all works to plan.
Final 30 seconds on the clock here in the third. Three from the corner, doesn't go. And that gives Easton an opportunity here with 18 seconds to get a shot off. They have plenty of time.
Very surprising and maybe a tad too soon there by Kerbacher, and we'll see if it comes back to bite him in the butt.
Down to 8 seconds. Taking a little extra time here is Clark. I don't think he realized how there was only down to 5 seconds on the clock. That one's stolen away by Cole. Going to air this one up and doesn't go. 3 complete, 1 to go. Northampton holding on to a 32-29 lead. We'll be back with more action. You're watching our D11sports.com Game of the Week presented by St. Luke's Sports Medicine. Back after this.
Hall of Fame pitcher Steve Carlton knows what it takes to exceed expectations. He knows what it means to be part of a team that rises above the competition. He knows a champion. Steve Carlton knows St. Luke's Orthopedic Care.
We are back here at Liberty High School's Memorial Gymnasium. I want to thank Fred Harris for his hospitality having us here. And Tommy, we got a great game here, game number 1. Absolutely, you look at 15-3, a 9-0 run. You look at 26-14, here they come back again, 32-29. after 3. Your thoughts?
Yeah, these teams are here for a reason. Neither team's going to lay down. We figure we'd have a close game. They played once in the regular season, and it was a 3-point game with 20 seconds left. Northampton trailed and had the ball. Didn't get a shot off and had to foul, so it ended up with a 5-point margin. But we had to figure we'd be in for a nail-biter here. It's anybody's game. It's up for grabs. Whoever executes best over the last 8 minutes is going to come out with the victory.
And we'll see what happens there. Quickly, Ryan Boylan drops zone to 2, and he's got 7 points.
So that was a set that Easton ran in the first quarter when they were struggling for offense. They ran Boylan off a ball screen against that zone, and he missed the 15-footer. Right there that time, he got himself squared to the basket and drilled it, as you expect your senior leader to do, to shave that deficit to 1.
How long do we see Isaac Harris out of the game?
I would bring him back at the 5-minute mark. If Easton goes on a little bit of run here to take the lead, you might see a timeout and get him in a little bit quicker, but I would put him in at the 5-minute mark.
How about Rodriguez? In the lane, skying through, and 1.
Well, Rodriguez is crafty with the ball. He knows where he wants to go. He's got good body control. He's good. He has very good handles. At some point, if you're Easton, you have to make him change direction and go to his left as you get a little look at the replay there. We call that a step through, ball over the head, and he draws the contact and finishes the 3-point play.
35-31. That one knocked away. Good hands, and they almost throw that one away. And a good job of Gould to come back with it. Boy, there's a lot of it going on behind the back.
Well, let's call that a comedy of errors right there, but nonetheless.
Boylan changes directions and scores.
And what a ragtag sequence, and it results in a deuce for the Red Rovers.
35-33.
That was like a hot potato, Al. You ever microwave a baked potato and you pull it out, I realize why they call it a hot potato.
To the corner. And there's your 3 by Gula. 36th of the year, comes at a great time for Northampton.
That was set up by Rodriguez again on a penetration. Easton helped. They collapsed in the paint, and Rodriguez found the open man. And as you pointed out, Gula buried the 3.
Well, Boylan got stuck there. They call a jump, and it'll go the other way for Northampton.
Here's Boylan, leaves his feet to pass. Oh, I'm sorry, this was the prior set when he forces one in. Great job by the scorer right there, putting it in. On that set, as you pointed out right there, not a long jump ball, but enough to warrant the whistle, as Coach Childs asking McWhite, why was that a jump ball?
We approach the 6-minute mark, game number 1. And gave the ball up at the right time, and going to the free throw line is Jake Chrisman.
So once again, great sharing of the basketball. Rodriguez to Gula to Chrisman, who's a lefty, finds himself on the left side with the basketball and draws the foul.
I still got to get back to Tom. You still have me puzzled where you say you choked in the spelling bee. I'm still back with that. I need to know more. I mean, our viewers, they're asking on YouTube. They're like, what happened?
We don't have enough time for that story. I think I was the number 1 seed in a 30-student spelling bee, and I got knocked out on the first word. Let's just leave it at that. Absolute choke job. And then I went in the back owl and sat there through the rest of the spelling bee and spelled every word correctly to myself.
40-33. All right. He gave it to us.
Look at Brown at 5'6", the smallest guy on the floor, getting an offensive rebound and creating another shot for his teammate.
And somehow they almost get a third chance. Jump ball, possession arrow to Easton.
You can tell we're late in the semifinal of district play with the amount of bodies on the floor right here.
(40-33). Things starting to heat up just a little bit.
Yeah, it's getting a little chippy, and you can tell there's something on the line here, and these guys are not backing down. That's what you want to see.
Inbound the ball. And that one almost to the corner, then feeding down underneath. And a whistle and a foul. We've seen that twice. They look like they have the easy putt. They don't get it, and all of a sudden a foul the other way. And with that, we walk the floor.
1-1, big change in events right there as you miss a layup at one end, and now you have the potential to get some free throws at the other end. Here's Here's the play you just mentioned. Johnson inside, struggling to finish, and then Clark over the back. And Kerbacher will shoot 1 and 1. Northampton, a very good free throw shooting team. We'll see how Kerbacher can handle the front end of this bonus. That looked pure.
He's only been to the free throw line 6 times. This is now 7, 5 of 7 from the free throw line for Kerbacher.
Well, he's feeling it tonight, and that's why he's earning himself extra minutes. And it's enabled Coach Stampone to leave his leading scorer tonight, Harris, on the bench.
42-33, back up by 9. With 5:30 on the clock, Assad Brown with a short jumper, doesn't go. And it remains Easton basketball.
You can see the sense of urgency on the faces of the Red Rover players right now. They're starting to force and push a little bit. On the positive side, they're really crashing the glass and creating more opportunities for themselves.
To the corner, 3, that one well off the mark. Over to Cole. This is a huge possession in the game. We are at the 5-minute mark and with a big lead. To the corner, Kerbacher, they leave him wide open. That's dangerous. Kerbacher has 9 threes on the year. He's got 3 tonight.
Well, all credit to Joe Kerbacher, who has made himself a name tonight, and one that will go down in Concrete Kid lore for years if they hold on and get this victory.
Back up to a 12-point lead. That may have been they're going to bail him out on a foul by Kerbacher. Take a look.
Here it is. So Gula doing a great job handling the incredible intense pressure by Assad Brown. Kerbacher wide open, feeling it, just knocked down 2 free throws, so he knows his stroke is good, and he just buries it. As you mentioned, 9 all year and 3 in a district semifinal in front of the biggest crowd they've played in front of all year to give his team a double-figure lead.
To the corner. Rainbow 3 won't fly in by Hutchinson. Another jump ball, and possession arrow goes to the K-Kids. All right, so Tommy, I take you here. The flow is going. Northampton is flowing along here. 4:26 on the clock. Do you keep flowing along, or do you start milking a little bit?
Well, I think I'm going to give you the safe answer, and you're going to do a little bit of both. You're going to just try and shave a few more seconds off every possession than you normally would, unless you get a wide open look, and then you're going to continue to play your basketball.
Kerbacher for 3. That one doesn't go. Boy, he was feeling it.
Well, it's tough to argue with that shot because the young man's been on fire. So now you get an offensive rebound. Now you want to milk about 20 seconds plus before you take a shot.
(45-33), 4 minutes left.
Here comes Isaac Harris, who's going to re-enter the game with 4 fouls.
We welcome everyone watching on D11sports.com. Our game of the week presented by St. Luke's Sports Medicine. Tell your friends right here on YouTube live. And bringing you.
Did you tell your friends?
I don't have many.
You don't.
You're here, but you're an acquaintance.
I'm insulted by that reference.
I want to be on your good side. I'm going to give you like a spelling bee. How do you spell Easton?
Easton. I don't miss anymore. It
right.
takes a lot to stump me. I think I was 11 at the time.
I have an 11-year-old at home. I may have her challenge you.
All right, let's do it. You had me going, though. I thought you were serious.
Driving through and 1. Dante Rodriguez.
And that is a skilled move and finish right there by Rodriguez. Almost cuffing the ball Dr. J style, DeCarlo.
Yeah,
did you catch it?
Absolutely did.
He pulled it back with the cuff, drew the foul.
I thought Zinkoff was going to be in the house and say it. Julius Irving. I can't do it.
There's a look at the replay, and they are going to call it an intentional foul.
Wow.
Wow is correct because Rodriguez will shoot, and then I believe Northampton will retain possession as our 3-man officiating crew is going to consult about this. But
well, now the question is,
we get one more look at the replay. So Brown did grab his jersey from behind.
So no basket.
It should be a basket.
They didn't mark the basket on there,
It
though.
just went up as you said
Okay.
that.
Josh Bellman, our producer,
Josh
he had it on there.
He
He's
had it
all over.
first. So now Rodriguez, I believe, will shoot one, and then they will take possession.
Huge part of the game right here.
Huge. Easton, it's starting to slip away from the Red Rovers.
47-33, biggest lead.
And Dennis McWhite has awarded 2 free throws here to Dante Rodriguez. And then the K-Kids will take possession. So this could, well, he misses the first, but this could be a damaging first nail in the coffin.
What?
Rodriguez comes up short on the second, but Northampton will remain in charge.
So 47-33, up by 14 with 3:39 on the clock.
Another discussion here at the scorers table as they're just trying to get everything sorted out as far as team fouls and personal fouls go. But Brown clearly grabbed the jersey as Rodriguez went by him, and that's why we had the intentional foul.
Now this becomes huge. On the possession in the basket, Rodriguez doesn't get on the free throw line, but he has 7 in the quarter.
Just far too many defensive breakdowns for Easton in a district semifinal in order to come out on top.
Rodriguez give and go to Cole for 2 more. Here's a 3. That one goes for Avery Hutchinson. They needed that one.
Well, that might, if that shot gets missed and rebounded, we might have had, it might have been all she wrote, but very, very impressed with Dante Rodriguez. He soars to the basket. He great length. Here you get a look at the out-of-bounds play underneath where he cuts to the basket, beats his man for the layup. Then he gets the steal. Here you get a look at Hutchinson nailing the 3 to keep the Red Rovers in it temporarily. Childs with the quick timeout, and he's going to set up some full-court pressure here to try and get some steals and some fast break points.
Surprised?
Surprised at the margin. I had a feeling coming in here that Easton and Allen were the slight favorites based on both seeding and the way that they'd been playing. But I also thought that both, if you wouldn't call them underdogs, had a very good chance, and that one of them, if not both, would pull the upset tonight. Northampton, as Coy pointed out, they had 19 days off. They did not make the league playoffs. They lost out on a tiebreaker, did not make the league playoffs, had 19 days off after their regular season finale before they played in a district quarterfinal against the 2 seed Liberty Hurricanes, and they came out of that game with an upset victory. So they're riding high right now, but I did not expect this margin.
Yeah, doing a good job. Corey Stampone, I asked him before the game with our D11 sports reporters and yourself, are you concerned with the victory against Liberty? He said, I was more concerned with the huge layoff before that Liberty game than I am now. But, that was kind of where they stood at that point.
Well, so now we're going to see Coach Childs employ the fouling tactic, and Rodriguez just missed 2, does shoot 80% from the line, and so he's going to restore order. And now moving forward, Northampton's going to be in the double bonus, so it's going to be very difficult for the Red Rovers to play catch-up unless they get some steals.
52-36 as Rodriguez makes 1 of 2. And Boylan will go in, count it. Oh, excuse me, offensive foul.
So that right there epitomizes Northampton right there. Number 23, Jake Chrisman, has not contributed much offensively tonight, but he steps in right there and takes a charge on Boylan, a little bit out of control, to earn his team the possession.
They go for the trap, and they get a job done, and driving through and scoring is Assad Brown.
Yeah, a little run and jump action right there by Coach Childs. It's getting desperation time, although there is a lot of time left, and Rodriguez has missed 3 out of his last 4 free throws. So let's see what he can do here, as he will get 2.
It's interesting as, we look at the steal here by Brown, to get it back. But you said they're going to bring Rodriguez back to the line, and he is 80%. But when you're 1 for your last 3, you're going to go with the kind of what's getting you there. And if you're Coach Child, say keep fouling him until we see him hit a couple in a row.
Yeah, you're not 80% in the last 2 minutes. You're 1 for 4. And so right now that's what's on the mind of both Rodriguez and of Coach Childs and Easton. So looks like we have a little issue at the – okay, we're ready to go. But Easton's going to keep coming at Northampton with waves of pressure, and the K-Kids are going to have to do a better job than they did on that last set where they just tried to dribble through it, and there's another miss by Rodriguez, and now it's in his head, and that's where it becomes a problem. It's a mental thing right now. He knows he's a good shooter. He's had a very good game, and he's struggling with one aspect of it right now, and it's affecting him mentally. As you see him giving himself a little smile and chuckle, and then he steadies himself and knocks it down.
So 1 of 2 for Rodriguez. That ball loose. Notre Dame, the Crusaders, advance to the championship with a victory. Boylan hits the deuce.
Congratulations to Pat Boyle. They'll be playing for gold and advance to the state playoffs. Good for them.
60-49, the final score in that one. Over to Cole. Cole waits, assesses, can't score, however, and they're going to bring it back out.
Great job by Kerbacher attacking and getting possession, and Stampone recognizes he was in a little bit of trouble and calls timeout.
All right, so you look at the score, and everybody's looking at the scoreboard saying, oh, this game's over. It's not over. There's 2:19 on the clock, and again, as we see, Easton's going to bring a little more pressure. A lot can happen here in the final 2:19. There's plenty of time. Northampton controlling the tempo, but it's starting to sway just a little bit if they start continue to miss those free throws.
Well, it's over. It's not over for several reasons. One, Easton has a possession arrow, so if we get a tie-up, ball's going to go to Easton. 2, Coach Childs has a couple timeouts to use yet on made baskets. 3, as you just pointed out, Northampton has struggled in the last minute or 2 at the free throw line. Most importantly, with the 3-point shot in high school basketball and all forms of basketball, you're really never out of a game when you can score 6 points in about 15 seconds. So they're going to have to make some shots and hope that Northampton cooperates by missing some free throws. But this thing is far from over with 2:19 to go.
53-40, 2:19 on the clock. And if game number 2 is like game number 1, we should have a nice atmosphere.
Well, the District 11 committee sets it up so that I guess in theory that they would expect the better game to be the second game. Is that what we look at? Not that this game
number
would
1
not be
seed,
good.
number 4
okay.
seed.
But you're right. We would expect the second game to be just as good as the first game. And now it looks like Coach Stampone is going to say nothing but a layup. We're going to force them to foul. We're not doing anything unless they give us a wide open layup.
There you go.
Look at that.
Look at that. You said you were going to get it, and you got it. I wasn't even paying attention, so that would have belted me right in the head.
Well, Josh had me covered if I didn't grab it because he was ready, but I'm like I don't know, as Donatelli's looking at me, I don't know. What animal has a cat-like reflexes? I wanted to just go for one hand, but I figured I'd be safe and save us all and go for the two-hander.
Wow, that was impressive.
That thing came buzzing, too. That was like a Aaron Nola fastball.
And you almost spelled basketball at the same time. I'm not going to let this go. You know that, right?
I was reading Spalding on the label. Or as a Yankee fan, Al, who do you prefer?
I prefer anybody but Aaron Nola. I'm still back at CC Sabathia.
So I was going to say Sabathia, but he retired. So,
all right, to the free throw line. Back to action here. Here's Gula. And hits the free throw. Gula at 69%.
Good numbers for most of these K-Kids. Harris at 85 and Rodriguez, although he struggled at 80. And you pointed out in the first half, Al, Spencer Cole, 94%. It's going to be very tough if those 3 young men have the ball to play catch-up here.
Up by 15 with $1:48 on the clock, and they'll get a nice look at a 3. That one doesn't go for Clark, and the rebound. And Rodriguez is feeling it, and he'll take another trip to the free throw line.
Yeah, we're about in that territory right now where we might not see fouls for much longer if you're Easton. And Northampton's job on the defensive glass is what has kept them in control, holding the Red Rovers to 1 and done for much of the night.
So Rodriguez with another free throw. He's been dynamite tonight.
He's going to be upset with the fact that he left 4 or 5 points on the line, but I think the rest of his play allows for that.
Boylan. That was a 3, correct?
That was a 3, and Coach Childs burns another timeout, and we're about at the last chance saloon here for the Red Rovers. They're going to come at Northampton with some more pressure as Boylan knocks down a much-needed 3, but time is a-wasting.
56-40. Last year it was Allen that won the district championship handily over Parkland, 76-50. East Stroudsburg South beat Northampton by the score of 60-50 in 2018. Pocono Mountain West won 83-59 in 2017, and then Parkland had that streak of 4 in a row, beating Bangor, Whitehall, Emmaus, and Freedom.
So Allen won last year's District 11 tournament, correct?
Yep.
Allen won the East Penn Conference tournament 2 weeks ago, correct?
Correct.
Very difficult to continue to win these championships in a row like that. That opens it up for Freedom and/or Northampton here. Not that Allen and Doug Snyder aren't capable. They certainly have a very talented starting 5, and they are on fire right now. But it's just very difficult to continue winning those championships one after another. So would not be surprised if Northampton and/or Freedom, as we have a little error and a erroneous horn right there. But it will give Easton another chance to apply some pressure.
That one doesn't go. Gives Easton another opportunity here. Hang on to see what happens. Never say die attitude for the Red Rovers and Ben Childs. And they can score quickly. Here's Brown off the window. No, ball loose. They get it right back. Jacobs will kick it out. This is where Jacobs could be dangerous. That one's going to be a little short. But the rebound goes to the K-Kids, and they go for the steal, and we'll walk the floor once again.
So the problem for Coach Childs right there was he had Ryan Boylan and Aaron Clark out of the game because they both have 4 fouls. And when they got possession of the ball, he couldn't get his 2 shooters in the game. Very key right there. He couldn't afford to call timeout either because he needs him to stop the clock. So just a worst-case scenario right there for Coach Childs. At that point, you might as well just leave your guys in. You know you have to foul, but you kind of have to leave them in case you get possession off a steal, which is what they did.
Great look at the crowd there and the Northampton contingent. They're happy and excited as Crispin hits another free throw.
Very happy. It looks like they'll be playing for gold on Saturday night for the second time in 3 years. How about that? A dormant program for much of the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, and Coach Stampone is going to have them playing for gold for the second time in 3 years. Very, very impressive.
59 seconds left from the outside. There's a 3. Hutchinson comes off the bench. He has 2 3-pointers. He only averages 2 points a game with the big 3.
Well, the Red Rovers doing just enough to hang around as we get a look at the replay here. Brown pushing the ball up the floor. Hutchinson from well behind the arc right there. Knocks it down. Coach Childs either out of timeouts or down to 1 by my count. Going to need to play the foul game again or hope for some mistakes from Northampton as we get late in the stages of this one.
(58-46). As we wind down this clock, and I'll tell you what, it's still manageable. You said it before, but you got to do something quick here. But defensively, you're going to have to steal here.
Well, I mean, you'd like to go for 1 steal before you foul, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to try and get a trap and get a turnover. If it doesn't happen, you're going to have to take a foul right now or just concede.
Yeah, and I think that's what it looks like they may be conceding here.
Now, they're going to take 1 more foul and see if they can knock down a 3, it seems like. Coach Childs with the palms up saying, what are we doing? But this might be it here after we get 1 more set of foul shots. It's going to be Harris to the line for 2, who's been quiet since he had to go to the bench with 4 fouls, but he did his damage early on to help the K-Kids build this lead.
Lower screen there. See Carl Gilbert. He gave me a plethora of stats that I'm going to use in game number 2. It's a packet of information.
Well,
we thank the Worlds for everything they do. We thank Carl Gilbert as well.
He told me he was disappointed you didn't use him on Saturday, and I said, well, Al will make up for it today. Boylan misses that 3 to K-Kids. Another defensive rebound, and the seconds are ticking away. And this one's going to go in the favor of Northampton Concrete Kids.
Now you're hearing it from the crowd here from Northampton side of things. And back to the free throw line is Gula. So 27.9 left. It's a 13-point game. And maybe a concern for Coach Stampone as he gets to, if they get to the championship and it stays that way, is the free throw line.
Yeah, look at their numbers, 80, 94,
not tonight,
70,
right?
and 85, and you would not be able to tell down the stretch here because they've left many points on the board. Has not come into play tonight. It may on Saturday, and they're going to need every point. And I think that's going to be our final score, 60-46. Well-deserved win by the Concrete Kids.
Final 6 seconds. Northampton, they're celebrating. Fans celebrating as well, having fun as the K-Kids are headed to the championship. They win this one by the final score of 60-46. Exciting time for Coy Stampone and his team without question. And we'll come back with more right after this. You're watching our D11Sports.com Game of the Week presented by St. Luke Sports Medicine. Back after this.
Are you searching for a place where you belong? Where your fitness matters? Regardless of what shape you're in, St. Luke's Fitness and Sports Performance Centers have a professional team that will help you meet or exceed your fitness goals. With locations throughout the region and nationally recognized fitness experts, you'll become a member of a supportive fitness community. We call it Extraordinary Fitness. Visit us online to start your free 7-day membership and let us help you thrive.
We are back here, and obviously great excitement for Northampton and their fans as well as they win this one, by the score of 60-46. I'll tell you what, you have to be excited as a community to win because this brings everybody, excitement and brings you out as well.
Absolutely, and they were out in full force tonight. We had a very good crowd, a lot of neutral people from the two teams in the late game, people from Easton, but Northampton definitely represented the best. They'll be out in full force on Saturday night too. Students, faculty, administration, all here to support, and their team put on a great show.
Well, take it through the scoring first things first. Deshaun Johnson with 2. 14 points for Ryan Boylan, 7 points for Assad Brown, 2 points for Chris Huey, 13 for Aaron Clark, and 5 points for Avery Hutchinson. They will play in the consolation game against the loser of either Freedom or Allen, who is our nightcap part of the game. And as you're taking a look at some highlights, give you some more numbers. Spencer Cole with 6, Rodriguez with 18 points, 11 points for Gerbacher, who was tremendous tonight, 6 points for Gula, 6 points for Jake Chrisman, and Isaac Harris finishes with 14 points. Obviously, the opportunity, for Northampton to play another championship. You said they got to it in 2018.
Yeah, they did it with a balanced effort tonight. You didn't get much from Gula. He didn't nail a big 3 in the fourth quarter, but you had contributions up and down the lineup. Harris, Kerbacher, as you said, Cole, our player of the game, Rodriguez. Just a great balanced team effort for Coach Stampone and the Concrete Kids.
So 60-46. Again, if you're wondering, because we always like to look ahead on what happens, they lost to Easton during the year. They get the victory. They lost to Freedom during the season by the score of 74-68, and they did not play Allen. So there's a lot. I mean, they were close with that game, and obviously, for us, they put them in a situation where, now you have a chance to move on and get the victory as well.
Well, if you're Northampton right now, you fear nobody. You fear absolutely nobody. You will take on anybody the way you're playing. You have to be brimming with confidence. It doesn't matter if you're playing the number 1 seed Allen or you play the 4 seed Freedom. You lost to Freedom, and that's fine, but you also already lost to Easton, and that didn't matter tonight. So they're just playing very well right now. They're buying into what Coach Stampone is selling, and that's why they're playing Saturday night.
Yeah, without question. So the last championships, Allen won against Parkland last year, and East Stroudsburg South beat Northampton 60-50 in 2018. You look ahead for the Easton Red Rovers. You got a lot to play for now. Obviously, when we talked to Coach Childs, he said, there's no motivation. They know either one, you're going for first place or you're going for third place. He goes, that should be motivation enough. But it's Corey Stampone's team that ends up getting the victory tonight to move on into the championship.
Well, Coach Childs is going to have a challenge on his hands. It's never easy to get a team up to play in a consolation game once you've had your championship hopes shattered in a semifinal. So we'll see what kind of leadership Easton has. We'll see what they bring to the table on Saturday's consolation game, and then moving forward the week after that once they make the state playoffs. But Coach Stampone, his guys, they are hungry right now. As I said, they are on a mission. They showed it tonight. They dominated. They pushed back every run that Easton made, and they're going to sit here. They're going to relish and enjoy what they just did in the locker room for the first 5, 10, 15 minutes of this, and then they're going to come back out here and watch the game and see who they're going to take on Saturday night, and they're going to be laser focused for the next 3-4 days.
Well, the second game is being warmed up right now, and we're trying to wait for Corey Stampone and his team, with our D11 Sports reporters, but not sure we're going to get him. We're going to hold for another minute or so to get him through. Otherwise, we got to get ready for game number 2, and we'll just get him on for our Twitter feed. But, 60-46 is the final score. Your final thoughts, once again, as they get ready for the championship.
Well, again, very impressed with Northampton. They do it the right way. They don't rely on individual talent. They make plays. They care about their teammates. They play for their teammates. They play for the name on the front, in other words, Northampton, as opposed to the individuals that they are. And you can see that they're just completely bought in to everything that Coach Stampone is selling right now, and they are bought in as a unit. That's why you're going to see them in the nightcap on Saturday night.
All right, we'll wrap it up here, and we'll get them on our Twitter feed as they get the championship. The final score in this one, 60-46 for Tommy Moser, Ari Bluestein, Josh Bellman, Dave Micah, and all our student reporters. We thank you for watching this one, and it is Northampton punching their ticket to the championship. They win 60-46. Have a great night, everyone.